Welcome to American Patriot. I'm glad to have all of you here with me today. This channel is going to be about discussing our constitutional rights and what's going on right now in our world, in our news, in our country. So first off, a little bit about me. I'm a retired veteran, and I served many years in order to protect the freedoms that are enshrined in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And I'm very concerned about what's happening, in particular right now, to our freedom of speech. Right now we have a Dr. Mikovits, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, who has come out and painted a very different picture of the research and what's going on with the coronavirus. Now, in this video, I may do another video later where we debate whether or not we think what she is saying is true or not true. In this video, I don't want to get into that conversation. I want to really focus on what I see as the bigger value right now, and that is whether or not it is appropriate for a documentary to be pulled just because it may not fit with the agenda or the narrative that's being put out by the mainstream. So my biggest concern here is that we have freedom of speech, and freedom of speech doesn't mean that we are always going to agree on what is being said, and it also doesn't mean that just because something is uncomfortable that we don't discuss it. Okay, so with Dr. Mikovits, she's obviously saying some things that upset people. I understand that the coronavirus is out there, and that's a scary thing. And then we also have this notion, or we also have this very real happening where people are out of work right now. And both things are scary for lots of reasons. And I'll do later videos and dive into what I think is the major concern with people out of work and the fabric of our society. But right now we're going to focus on freedom of speech. We expect our government to follow the Bill of Rights, and one of those rights include freedom of speech. The question here now is we have large companies that are in a position really for the first time in history in this way to be able to control what we see and hear. Now, many people will say, well, if you don't want to use their products, don't use their products. And that's true to an extent. You know, we could all choose not to use those companies' products, except for the fact that they have become so mainstream that I would almost make the argument now that they're becoming public utilities. And if they hold this much power in a democratic society, I think that we need to start having conversations about what standard we're going to hold them to. And I think it's very concerning that they are able to decide what is or is not appropriate for community guidelines. The notion of the marketplace of ideas says that people should be able to speak their ideas and thoughts and beliefs, and then there should be public discourse about that speech, and people get to decide whether or not that what they have said is a good idea or a bad idea. But if we're simply not able to hear those ideas, then those ideas are never filtered through. So, for example, as a veteran, you know, I served overseas, and wars are very controversial by nature. And I would be lying to you if I told you that when I came back and I found protests, that they weren't frustrating for me. However, I still believe in the right of people to protest, whether I agree or disagree, because as a free people, we must be able to speak our minds and have that discourse in a non-violent way. You know, that's really, really important. Sure, our nation was born out of a revolution, but hopefully we've created a society where we can now respectfully disagree with each other and have that discourse. So if we start to see censorship, that's a very, very troubling thing, because it means now we're no longer having debate. that only one side has a voice. Whether you agree or disagree with that voice at this point in time, just know that at any moment that voice could change, and then you would suddenly have no way to speak out about your thoughts and beliefs and desires. So I think the higher principle here right now is really freedom of speech. We hold the government to that, and I think that we're reaching a point in our society where we really need to talk about how much power private companies have if they're engaged in a market that deals with one of our fundamental rights, which is freedom of speech. So in this particular instance, these companies are engaged in commerce, which I think commerce is great. It's wonderful. It's provided one of the greatest standards of living for our country, in the world up to this point in time. Is it a perfect system? No, but has it created a wonderful standard of living for most people? Yes. Okay. So, but if you're engaged in a commerce that has so much power over what people think, hear, and believe, and ultimately decide is correct, I think we really need to be holding them to a higher standard, and I think that they need to be fair and allow both sides of an issue to be heard, or 100 sides, whatever it may be. So I'd like to really know what you think. I think that we can have respectful discourse and we can disagree with each other, and that's okay, and that's actually healthy and a good thing. So please make your comments down below so that I can see what you think and what you hear about. If there's a particular topic you'd like me to address in a later video, go ahead and put that down. I'd be happy to do that. And I think that this is really important, that we maintain that marketplace of ideas so that we can continue to work through issues and work together as an American people, so that we can make sure that we pass our civil liberties and our way of life and our rights on to our children and our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. I probably have been quiet for too long, and I think it's time now that regular, everyday citizens start making their thoughts and ideas known, and so that way they know that we're here. So God bless you all. Take care, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you've already subscribed, go ahead and click on the notification bell up at the top, and that'll let all the new videos come to you as we talk about issues related to the Constitution and our Bill of Rights. Stay free out there, patriots.